Thanks for staying with us. As part of our celebration for International Women's Month, we're still celebrating women. So with us today is a dynamic leader, a dedicated advocate for gender inclusivity in the corporate world. She's the Director Legal at the IHS Nigeria Limited and plays a key role in overseeing the company's legal strategy, regulatory compliance, and risk management. Beyond her legal expertise, she's also the very passionate advocate for women's empowerment in the workplace. Welcome with us, Yemisi Diya-Salawu in the building.
Thank you very much. How are you doing? I'm very well, thank you.
We love women who are doing great things, who are building their careers and opening doors for other women.
Yes,
tell us a bit about yourself, how you made it into the IHS and what you do there.
So, I'm a lawyer, to start with. She's a lawyer as well,
yes.
So yeah. I qualified in England first, and as our old generational parents will do, come home. So I came home and I joined a law firm, a tier 1 law firm, where I practiced for almost 10 years. And I met my husband.
Nice.
And then we got married, and it was a family decision to say, okay, what do you want to do next? And I chose to go in-house, like we lawyers call it. And I joined IHS Nigeria Limited in 2016. I've been there now 9+ years.
Wow.
And what do we do? We're a telecoms infrastructure company, but I oversee the legal aspects of the business. But of course, I'm very passionate, like you just said, about women in the corporate world. And so I saw the opportunity and I took it as best as I could. And for me, when you have an idea, it's one thing to have an idea, it's another thing to have support. And so the tone at the top was very clear when it was tabled before executive management to say, we want to do this. We want to, set up a network for our women to have a platform, a structured platform, and not just talk around the issues. And so we have the Women in IHS network that we set up for empowering our women.
What does empowerment mean? Because we hear this word as used
networks everywhere.
loosely. Everybody's
networks everywhere.
empowering, everybody's empowering. What does that even mean?
Having a voice.
Okay.
Having a voice, being the voice for the voiceless. That's what the structure is supposed to do. I'm hoping it's doing, and it should continue to do that. And empowerment means different things to different people, like you said. I can be empowered, but I think I'm empowered, and somebody else is looking at you thinking, you're not empowered. You think you are, but you're not. But if you have a structure where you have pillars for what you stand for, you have a goal, you have objectives that you want to achieve, both as a business and in your personal lives, and you can table it, and you can begin to tick them off one after the other, and you look back and say, okay, I've done this, you feel empowered.
So, when you were talking about having a voice, it just occurred to me that I just feel like we have too many networks. Almost every TBC has a network, and a women's network and it occurred to me that when we talk about harassment, abuse, and all of those things, sometimes those networks provide a platform for you to find someone to talk to.
Yes.
Please educate people watching on the importance of having those kind of communities within organizations, and what interventions has your community that you championed brought into the organization?
It's extremely important to have these communities. And whether we like it or not, we are in a very diverse country. From a religious angle to tribe, everything, it's very diverse. And to that extent, what I found was that some people feel more comfortable talking to somebody that looks like them, that can represent them better, sounds like them. And so what we have done with WIN and at IHS is to set up what we call the Safe Zone Committee. And what the Safe Zone Committee does is to create an enabling environment where women can walk up to another woman and talk about their issues. We also try to plug in a female-only clinic where women, depending on what they are complaining about, if it's health-related, then they can go to the female-only clinic where they are more comfortable, they can relate, they can open up, because that's another issue that we have. Women tend to bottle things up. Sure. So that's the platform we've created, which is headed by...
I like the idea of platforms. I'll come to the ladies very soon, but one of the fears women have is that when I come and tell you my issues, I'm going to hear it outside. Yeah. Because there is that issue, because I know I have shared some of my innermost hurts with somebody, and then that story, I heard it far away in Abuja, and I'm thinking, how in the world did this happen?
It's painful.
But of course, so I'm like, because I thought I was speaking to somebody who was a safe place to me. But so how do we as women, or not just in your own organization, but what do you think women can do to hold each other's secrets? Is it possible for us to do that, do you think?
It's very possible, and I think that I agree with you, and I think that's why a lot of women are not as vulnerable as they think we are. They will say women are emotional, but are we vulnerable? And those fears exist. It really does exist. And what I think is, first, I think it shouldn't be everybody that should do certain things. I hear you on, we have a lot of networks, and because we're all women doesn't mean we're all allowed to do everything. Stick to your strength. Stick to your strength. We all have it, so find what you are extremely good at. So what I've identified is the fact that you know certain people that are really good at either coaching or counseling or, you know, just great interpersonal skills. And once you find those sort of people, I believe they are the secret keepers, they are the they're the protectors, let me put it that way. There's an amazing person in IHS called Buki, and that's what she does. She's a coach. She's just fantastic at that, and we've not had any incidents, at least. Thank God for that.
Okay, from the way you have, from all you have said so far and all of that, I can see that you've been dealing with a lot of women and all of that. So, can you tell us some of the challenges that you've faced so far in terms of them finding their voice and how you've made their voices heard?
Development.
Okay.
Training. Understanding who they are, what they can do, how far they can go. You find that once, in the corporate world at least, once women get in, you can find maybe 100 of them, and as the ladder goes, it dwindles, the numbers reduce, and you have to ask yourself, why? And what we have identified is purely development. They need somebody to, first of all, talk to, like we've identified, and then explain, this is what you need to do next. This is a step you need to take. No, you're going the wrong way. So then comes the famous topic of mentoring. And it works. Mentoring works. Find a mentor that you can align with. It's not just this person is popular, I want this person to be my mentor. No. Do your values align? Do you appreciate the profile of that person? Is there something you want to emulate from that person? Not because they are popular. So mentoring works. In the corporate space, sponsoring works because they're two different things. And once you're able to plug into those two, I believe that it does work. It does work.
So, because there's a joke that says women issues are men. Everything, menstruation, menopause and all of that.
That's an interesting perspective.
So what are some of the most common issues that you deal with as women? Do they have family problems at home? Is it hindering their progress in the workplaces? Are they silenced at home before they get to what exactly are the issues
that we face the most? Yes, those issues are very prominent, and it came through.
Is it main issues also?
Well, partially, because you can't take away the men from menstruation, right? But yes, those issues are very common, and one that we don't talk about a lot is menopause. It's hormonal. It causes a lot of a lot of changes, and you have to focus on it, to be quite honest. And we are very structured with our platform, so maybe that's why we've come a long way. But what we've done is we have a couple of initiatives that we've put in place. We have IVF and fertility support for our women. That takes away the financial and emotional burden to a certain extent, because they know that, okay, somebody is paying for it. I have the time and space to go and get this treatment. And yes, my career will still be waiting for me. We have an extremely good structure for maternity. We have a 6-month maternity leave for women. that is paid.
Wow.
And your job will still be secure. We have support for women that have special needs children.
Wow.
Again, it takes away the financial burden. It takes away the emotional stress.
Everybody wants to come and work in your...
It takes away all of those things. So
it's good. I mean, I like that you because the idea for you bringing you is people can learn from what you're doing.
Yes.
Because in our organization, for example, we had a daycare. Since we moved here, it's not functional here, but back in our old building. And the reason was because lots of women needed somewhere to bring their kids. So it's good for your company that is also very forward-thinking for women to help other companies who also want to do something similar to get ideas. So I like the IVF idea to support. You support them financially and also the extended. I would love that in this way.
I know. Let me tell you what we did differently with daycare. So we give them the money for the daycare that they choose.
Okay.
Because what we found is that in putting a daycare in the office, it can be limiting. Because it can be limiting, it can be distracting, and then you don't want to defeat the purpose.
Yes.
And so the caregiver may not necessarily be just the mom. It may be the nanny, the grandma, even the husband. So it's a case of wherever you're living, if you select a daycare near your home, that's fine. So we don't have a daycare in our building. We left it open for them to find their own daycare, and we financially support.
I want to talk about career growth because a lot of women are always scared of that next phase. Like they're comfortable where they are. No. Their salaries are fine. They're paying their bills, but they see other women growing. I think
I want this.
They want it, but they just don't know how. They don't know the process. They're not ready. So what can we do to encourage women to aspire to get to something better than where they are?
First of all, personal branding. Like find yourself. Who are you? What do you stand for? What do you want to gain from your life in general? Put that, put pen to paper. Understand yourself first. Then you take the next step. What's the next step? So at IHS, we do a lot of what we call knowledge sharing sessions, which are internal, because we have 33% female board membership at IHS Towers, and we've grown 53% year in, year out since 2021 in female employee numbers. And it's an attraction in the first instance. And then secondly, we do a lot of training, like I said. We do a lot of training. We try to identify your talents. We try to identify where you are lacking, and we plug into that. There are a lot of conversations that go on, mentoring again, but there's something that we are starting called Board of Advisors. And what that means is that it's only the female leader that will sort of supervise a small group of women. That way it's more, it's personal, it's more intimate. You can easily pinpoint what you need to do for each person. So again, training, finding yourself, personal branding, and self-improvement.
So this year's theme is Accelerate Action.
Yes.
So for International Women's Month, what do you think we need to accelerate action on as a woman?
Speaking for each other.
Advocating
for each other.
I love
Let
that.
your voice be heard, not in your little corner, pointing fingers, oh, this person did not do it well. What are you doing in your space? If everybody contributes, we would move. We would move. I was seeing some statistics to say we would only close the gap by 2158. Initially, I was like, is that a password? I'm like, how many years is that? We don't have time. We don't have time.
It's about 100 years.
Yes, we don't have time. So if everybody collectively speaks with one voice, with one agenda, we will move. That's the action that we all need to do and accelerate it.
Wow, fantastic. Any comments, ladies?
As in, it's just interesting. I love people that told the career path. I think that we need to hear more of them. We'll see the entrepreneurs are more forward with sharing their stories about their
than the corporate world.
The corporate world will, I just don't want to. My office doesn't allow it. My role doesn't. So I hope that we'll have more the networks within corporate world allow women to share their stories, because we can then inspire our younger people to see that there is growth within the corporate world for them, and they don't necessarily have to hit the streets on the hustling journey of entrepreneurship.
Thank you very much for coming on the show.
Thank you all so much. This was great.
That's all we can take on today's show. Hope you learned a few things as we have. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.